Welcome, Peggy.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate this.
Peggy is going to be one of 53 authors at the Festival of Books and Creativity that's taking place on Sunday, June 29th in Novi, Michigan. Can you believe 53 authors? Wow.
I think that's great. Oh.
So you have four books?
Well, sort of, like kind of like three. Um, I actually might have the fourth one out by then,
Ooh,
but I don't want to say for positive because, you know, it's that time. You just don't want to do that.
I totally understand. So tell us about the books that you are going to be able to bring.
Okay, absolutely. Let me scoot my chair back a little bit. So the first one is actually, I'm going to try to get this back the other way. Okay,
There we go.
there we go. Huh, that's a thing. It's Hillbilly Chess, the Bastard Pawn, and that is Peggy Watkins, which is my maiden name.
Okay.
Well, actually, it's my birth name. I was adopted when I was 6 months old, but so this is a memoir of resilience and liberation. Um, First, I'm going to stop right there and I'm going to back up and I'm going to say for the last 20 years, I've been a psychotherapist working with foster care, adoption, rape, and abuse.
Ooh.
And yeah, so I did work with other issues too, but not that was my main focus.
Okay.
Um, so in doing that, I learned. Well, I always knew that I my childhood wasn't so great.
Mhm.
There were things that I probably should have worked out, before. And it is a funny thing is because so many people will say, psychiatrists, psychologists, and psychotherapists all go into that business to figure out themselves and their family.
Mm.
So, could be. I know I had some baggage, not a good childhood.
Mhm.
So the book, um, my years of working with foster care kids and experiencing their pain and their trauma firsthand and knowing what I went through, it really spiked me to um, go find a therapist of my own, and then I wrote the book. So you do not have to actually be crazy to go to counseling. You just sometimes you just need someone to talk to. It's okay. Counseling is a really good thing. I promise you. It's that old cliche that so
Yep.
many people use. Oh my gosh, are you crazy? Well, my family might disagree, but I don't think so. So, um, so in this book, Hillbilly Chess, the Bastard Pawn, it is. I have gotten a lot of really good reviews, and a lot of people in the business have said, "Well, I'm going to buy a few books and I'm going to keep in my office because this is really good for some of my clients to read to find out how what you went through starting at 6 months,
Mhm.
really before all of your childhood, your teenage years, your adulthood, because trauma follows you. It doesn't just go
Mm.
away because you become 18. It really follows you until you deal with it. So that's what the book is about. I really do go into some family. I'll read you just a little tiny bit. I
Ooh.
really do go into some family issues. Hillbilly Chess, the Bastard Pawn is a remarkable memoir of resilience and liberation, a gut wrenching look into a family thriving with dysfunction, dishonesty, and a brutal way of life. Adopted within the family, Peggy survived physical, psychological, murder attempts, and incestual molestation all before she turned 9.
Oof.
So, so I do open up the closet door and I do let the monster out. So I do talk about it. But I also use a lot of my psychology in the book because I also give little blips here and there about, you know, um, why would a parent do this, you know?
Mm.
Mm. It is definitely not a book for anyone under 14 to read. I do throw out some F-bombs in there, not gonna lie. But, I think if you were to read this, you would, it would be the type of book that you wanted to read because you want to learn and you want to understand. And it is that kind of book. So if someone is not familiar with any kind of abuse, if
Mhm.
they read this book, they would definitely become familiar with it. And they would also know what to look for in other
Mm.
children and how to help them. Because I do put that in there as well. Um, and, like I said, I have a lot of colleagues that have copies and they've commended me on, wow, holy smokes.
That is so awesome that your colleagues are going, "Hey, I can use this book with
Mhm.
my clientele as well." So you're helping more than just your own clientele.
Yeah, and I retired in 2019 right before
Mm.
COVID hit. But it was it was probably some of the best therapy that I ever did to sit down and write this book
Mhm.
and, realize that there was so much dysfunction, um, in my growing up and, my family still some of them are dysfunctional. I'm sorry, guys. No, you are. But,
So do
so
you
in
so do you call out the family members in the book? Do you call them by name or did you change the names?
oh, no. Only if they've passed on do I use their real name. If they're
Okay.
alive, I'm not getting sued. Nope, mm-mm. Nope, don't ever do that. Anybody out there who's watching this, if you plan on writing a memoir, um,
Mhm.
make sure that you change their description of the person that is alive and their
Mm.
name, because if you don't and they can find cause, they will definitely, if they're anything like some people that I know, it wouldn't be
Yep.
pretty. Yeah. I think we all have a couple of those, 1 or 2.
Oh, oh, yeah.
It is what it is, you just deal with it and move on. You can't change them. You can't make them happy,
Mhm.
you know. So, the best thing for you to do is make yourself happy and move on.
Exactly. So you have 2 other books that you will have there as well.
I do. So this one, let me get there we go.
Ooh.
Okay. So this one I just finished, and this one just came out. So, a self-discovery vision board journey. I'm very, very excited about this book because I actually started writing this book when I was doing therapy with some of my clients.
Mm.
And so many people would always say, "Oh, let's do a vision board. Let's do a vision board. It's so fun." Well, they are fun to do
Yeah, they
and
are.
very helpful for people to do. But this book is way more than cutting out a few pictures and pasting them to a board and going, "Look." We're actually going to dive deep into what you
Oh.
want and what you need and your values and your morals. And you're going to
Oh.
write a vision statement and a mission statement. And we're going to find out what it is that you truly want to do in life for your family, for your career, for yourself. And in these pages, I don't know what I got here to show you.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, big
do a little
spaces.
oh, are getting there? Yeah.
Mhm.
So through these oh, well, there's sexy stuff too. Um, but in the pages, what I do is I completely walk you through it. And this book actually will work for you for an entire year because
Oh.
every 3 months, I feel that you should go back and reevaluate the goals that you want to set for the year. And here's a big one. there's so many people who say, "Oh, I'm gonna set some goals for this year, resolutions, and I've got
Mhm.
10 of them." You're human. It's not gonna happen. Don't set 10 goals. That's not gonna work. Uh,
Yep.
I have a list, a page, and they can write as many goals as they want on it.
Mhm.
Then they get, 5 minutes to write as many goals as they want to accomplish this year.
Mm.
Then they get 60 seconds to pick out 5 of the most important ones, and then
Ooh.
they get 15 seconds to pick out 3. So, those are the 3 that mean the most. When you can narrow it down to those 3, and I always tell people, "Let's start working on a couple,"
Mhm.
and then that 3rd one comes into play. We're gonna check ourselves every few months and see where we're at and how we're set, and do we need to change up? Do we need to redo something, And
Mhm.
then maybe if we've hit a goal, we'll bring that 3rd one in and put it in there now, and we'll start working on it.
Mm.
So it's a good thing, I actually have done this with a few clients for an entire year, and they've been very happy, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, no wonder I couldn't set any goals. I didn't know the steps that I needed to take
Mhm.
to hit those goals, and you helped me with that." And so I feel really good about this book, and I also actually do the classes with people too. So you got to
Oh,
have the
okay.
do the class, and but yeah. So I'm very uh, er, I'm very excited about this one. Yeah. And then the last one I'm going to bring is actually, I dabble in kids' books every now and again, and that is Sandy Sue Smiggles and Her Scary Spider Snyder.
No,
Yeah.
how cute.
So I kind of wrote that around Halloween
Mhm.
a few years back, and so Sandy Sue Smiggles, there's a lot of S's and a lot of counting in there. So I would say this
Oh,
probably for your smaller ages. I would say maybe, like 4 to 6, maybe 7. It
okay.
depends. Each kid is different.
Mhm. So how exciting. So you have another book that you're working on
Yes.
that may or may not make it to the June event.
Yes.
What is that book about?
So that is a glimpse of what if.
Mm.
And a quick little wrap about that, or synopsis. Um, I think all writers use their own little words, don't
Mhm.
we? We do, don't
Yep.
we? Okay. So, this one I actually kind of went off of some of my counseling too. I know I seem to be stuck there a little bit, but, there's good things in that. Um,
Mhm.
so it's about Rosemary. She's turning 50, and she looks back at her life and she's thinking, "Wow, I wish I could change a few things. It would be different. It would be better. The grass would be greener."
Of
And
course it would
um,
be.
I know. I know. And um, so she gets in a terrible accident. And while she is in a coma, some things are happening. And she's not sure if she's actually going back and changing her life, or
Mhm.
if this is just a deep, deep coma. And I'm not gonna spill it, but it is about reincarnation, about
Ooh.
damnation, about heaven or hell. It's about changing things, accepting things. Um, so it's it gets pretty, I mean, I guess I would call it paranormal, maybe slash spiritual, but it's not all spiritual, you know, um, Jesus stuff.
Okay.
I mean, and I don't have a problem with that. So don't anybody think I do. I don't. Um, I'm just saying it's not a book where I'm preaching to people or
Mhm.
anything like that. It's completely fiction,
Mhm.
but it goes deep into, is there reincarnation?
Mm.
Is there something else? What happens? What happens when we take our final breath?
Nobody really knows.
No, they don't. That's why this is fiction.
So all of your stuff revolves around pretty much your background. Um, w- so you've been a psychotherapist. For
Mhm.
how many years have you done that?
15.
Okay. And do you have other hobbies besides writing?
Mhm.
What are your other hobbies that you like to do?
I do. I actually love to go hiking,
Mm.
and I love hiking trails. I love taking my dogs out for a good hike. Not especially like picking ticks off of them, but it comes with hiking.
Eh.
Um, I like to swim. I just learned to swim a couple years ago. So I find that I really, really like to swim. Um, and I was very proud of myself for learning how to swim. Um, especially, I mean, yeah, it's that magic
when
age.
when you're not in the single digit ages.
Yes, yes. It was good. It was very exciting. So hiking, swimming, I love to cook. I love to garden. I love to
Mm,
garden. I actually grow my own herbs and vegetables. And with my own herbs, I'm actually I have my own little apothecary in in my back bedroom, and I
nice.
make my own tinctures and teas and salves. So if I get to coughing or not feeling good, I just go pull something out, and it usually tastes horrible, but it works.
Taste doesn't matter if it works.
It works.
As long as you can get it down. That's usually
Yeah.
the biggest thing is like, can I get through this?
Well, Mary Poppins says a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. So if you
Exactly.
turn that into honey, you're good to go.
Exactly. So you mentioned that you have a couple of dogs. What kind of
Mhm.
dogs do you have?
I have a Doberman who does not realize he's not really a lap dog. Um, yeah, he's about 100 pounds. Um, and then I have a rat terrier who
Mm.
was supposed to be just a foster dog a year ago, and I failed at fostering. And my husband said, "We're done. You can't do this anymore. We don't need any more dogs."
Because they'll come in and they won't go they won't find forever homes
How can you do
outside of
that?
yours.
I'm just like, I can't have her for this long and not, she has to stay.
I totally get it.
So, yeah.
I have heard that before from pet foster parents that they do it like once or twice and they can't anymore because they don't have any more room because
Yeah.
they keep the dogs.
Yeah, in becoming a foster mom dog person,
Hmm.
um, I had so many people say, "Well, are you sure?" Because I was like, "Oh, no, I got this. I'll be okay to give her up. It'll be okay."
No,
I
it
was
was
a
not
week
okay.
into it. Yeah, I know. I was a week into it, and I looked at my husband, and he goes, "Oh, man, we're not getting rid of this dog, are we?" And I'm like,
No.
"No, we're not." So, So, there's Ruby.
So what's the Doberman's name?
Cooper.
So you got Cooper and Ruby. Are they gonna find their way into your books?
Actually, I do have a little snippet about Ruby in here and her journey,
Oh,
and I do have a picture of, Cooper and Ruby both in that book. Yeah.
nice. As I say, most pet owners have to get their pets into their books
Mhm.
some way, somehow.
Yeah. and I've been talking to the rescue that I started with,
Mhm.
and we're talking about maybe doing a why rescue book.
Oh.
So, and having different people have their stories and their pictures in there, and I would love to do that. I think that would be so
Oh, that
fun.
would be really interesting.
Yeah. And I actually opened up my own small publishing company back in 20, I think was it 2018 or 19, something like that. So I do, publishing for people, but
Mm,
I'm not like, I don't pay you, you pay me, and I'll lay it out and I'll design. Um, I can do a little bit of artwork, and
mhm,
I I do layouts really good, and I do covers really good. So I can size them up and get them in PDF form exactly for you, ready to, upload.
mhm.
So there's that. That's fun to do.
So you retired just before the pandemic.
Mhm.
So aside are you did you find something else to replace that job with? Or are you enjoying retirement and writing in the publishing?
I really enjoy writing and helping other people bring their books to fruition. I think
Mhm,
it's so fun, and I like it because it feels good. One of my first books, I hired someone to do what I do,
mhm.
and they not only ripped me off, but they ripped off a whole bunch of other people in the process.
Mm.
And after that little stunt, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" So I
Mhm,
thought, "Why why don't I just learn how to do this stuff myself? And then
yeah,
I don't have to depend on someone else."
mhm.
So, I really didn't plan on doing anybody else's books, but then I had a friend who said, "Can you help me?" And I said,
Mhm,
"Yeah, of course I can." So, there that happened. But I do really like it. I enjoy it. I don't have an abundance of people knocking down my door. I don't have
mhm,
15 books at once or anything. I don't want to do that. I want to
mhm.
when I take someone on, I want to give them my full 100%. So, I've had a couple other jobs. I was the president of the Albion Chamber for a while. Um,
Okay,
that was
that takes a bit of
very
work.
Oh, yeah, that was way more than 40 hours a week.
Yes.
Thank God they hired Billy because I just love Billy. He's doing he is knocking it out of the park too, I will say. Um, and so I think I'm good where I'm at. And who knows, I might want to go be a barista so I can hear some stories and write a book about that too. Um,
Baristas and bartenders are 2
mhm,
people that hear a lot of stories.
I know. And being a writer, you can always embellish these a little bit, and make them a little more juicier or scarier.
Well, and the bartender ones, though, the people aren't gonna remember that they told you, so
I know. They'll be like, "Huh, that sounds familiar, but I just
right?
can't place it." Yeah.
That's why the disclaimer at the beginning of the book.
Absolutely, don't ever forget that puppy. I have read some really cool disclaimers. I've, like, been opening and reading disclaimers, and one well, my disclaimer actually in um, Hillbilly Chess, I actually say this work depicts actual events in the life of the author as truthfully as her recollections permit. While all persons within are actual individuals, the author has changed some names and identities to protect the innocent and change other names and characteristics so she would not be sued. So,
If you recognize yourself, if you like it, great. If you don't
yeah,
like it, I'm sorry.
yeah, whoops. Um, and I love what Anne Lamott says. I'll read that, and then I won't read anymore. Like, so Anne Lamott, and so many of us know who she is. She said it best: "You own everything that has happened to you. Tell your stories. If
Mm.
people wanted you to write warmly about them, they should have behaved better."
I
I
love
love that.
that.
I know, right?
That is so awesome. Yes.
Yes.
They should have behaved better.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, and that was the thing as the internet has come on board because it hasn't always been
Mhm.
for those of you youngins, it hasn't always been. um, you know, the one thing that always stuck with me, and at this point I don't remember who said it, but if you wouldn't want it put on the 6 o'clock news, don't put it on social media.
Yes. Yes. But, you know,
And
everybody
some
wants it on the 6 o'clock news.
and some of the stuff I've read, we got some pretty steamy 6 o'clock news.
Yeah. I could imagine my grandmother on my mother's side was from Kentucky, and she had a very strong accent, so I could just hear her voice now. "Lord have mercy." Just some of the things, you know?
hmm That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I am so looking forward to seeing you at the end of June in person.
Yeah, that will be great.
We are going to have a great time. Thank you for taking a few minutes out of your time to come on and share your books with us and give the watchers, I almost said readers, because, well, the watchers are probably readers,
The
a
watcher
glimpse into
sounds
what's going
sounds
to be
more
there.
the watcher sounds more interesting. The
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I really, really appreciate this. This is a wonderful thing that you do. I went and watched some, and um, yeah, I just think it's very, it's it kind of opens up and it gets you to knowing who some of the authors are, a little bit about them, and I just think it's wonderful. I thank you and appreciate it very much.
Well, I have been enjoying these and getting to know everybody because it is so nice to know people before the event.
Hmm.
And this way it's like, and my to be read list is getting longer and longer and longer. And just an FYI, there's going to be approximately 280 book titles. People need to bring wagons so that they can take home all the books.
Yes. Big wagons with big sides, the
Yes.
big sides. Yes.
Well, I will see you in June. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you again.